So last week we were talking about a really fun tile that takes the killer as far away as possible from anything important on Hawkins. And it's a really fun tile and a lot of little fun things you can do on it, but the most important thing on that tile isn't how strong it is, but it's how far it is away from anything important. Haddonfield also has a few tiles like that, but one is the best of the bunch. But the most important thing on Haddonfield is trying to get the killer away from the middle of the street. A lot of people think of this as a really killer-sided map, but I don't really think it is, especially tile-wise. It's just really unfortunate when you get 2, sometimes even 3 gens in the very middle of the street, because basically you have to try to keep the killer out of the middle of the street, which is right in the middle of the map, while also trying to get progress on the gen while having very limited resources right in the middle of the street. So a lot of times you have to do everything you can to try to pull the killer as far away from the middle of the street as possible. And the best way to do that is running in the backyard of some of the houses, because these houses are pretty strong. Almost every one of the houses has a strong window. That one doesn't quite as much, but that's on the other side of the street, once again far away from anything important. But these other houses definitely have a strong window on the right. This one is up here in the back, on the back side over here. This one over here has this front window right here. Now those are just the RNG houses, because this house right here that spawns in the middle and this house right here never really changes. This one changes the teeniest little bit, whether you get the window right here or the window in the back, but besides that, it does not change. Same with the upstairs windows, but the upstairs windows really are not good unless you have balanced landing anyway. And this house over here is really just a house of greed, because you can greed that pallet and go down the stairs. You also have another pallet out back you can greed and chain everything together. So it's a really fun house to be able to chain everything together at least. But the houses that spawn on either side of this one are RNG. So you're going to get one house over here always, and you're always going to get one house over there as well. And there's 3 total houses that can spawn, but like I said, you will only get 2 of them. So the tile that you're really looking for is only going to spawn 2 out of 3 times, which is still great. And it's still the same principle with the other houses, like you want to go run to the back. But the object is to try to loop near the backyard, because since the house windows are very strong, you can loop them over and over. They take you a little bit close to the front of the house, and if you're trying to keep the killer away from the gen, it's always going to give the killer the option, if they're chasing you and they walk around this way, to just leave the chase as you're looping something strong and come back over to here, because it's right in front of them essentially when you get a gen to spawn right there. So the ideal scenario to loop the killer at Haddonfield would be to take them to whatever is in the backyard and loop them there for as long as possible, because very similarly to the tile that we were talking about in Hawkins last week, it takes the killer a while to run from the middle of the map where everything important is when you get those gens in the middle of the street to run all the way back here. It's going to take the killer some time, 10, 15, sometimes even 20 seconds if they're far. Then that's where you'd want to waste their time at. Now this is the worst possible house. This house very rarely even gets anything. Sometimes you'll get a really poopy filler pallet right back here. But this also has the strongest house window by itself with this window right here. And that's to compensate for it. It also helps that this window that doesn't have anything in the backyard, this window is actually near the back as opposed to the other one where the window is right here in the front, and that gives the killer a much bigger chance to go back and leave the chase and go right back to the generator. Now this house is the easiest to identify as the 3, because the other 2 are pretty much the same color. They're just gray when you get up close to it. This is like Bear in the big blue house. You can see it's blue. You can see the white and the blue contrast from all the way across the map. Literally, you can see the house and be like, oh, I know exactly which one that is. Now this one is probably the second best, I think, of the 3. It has a window at the very back, but you need a really big head start to be able to loop that window over and over. But it is very useful if you don't have a big head start, because you can just jump right back here and get right into the backyard. And this, unlike that other house, actually has something in the backyard. It's not amazing. It's just a little shed, but same thing. You can just sit here and greed this over and over and plate it as long as you can, specifically, just because the fact that it doesn't matter even if the chase lasts only 10 seconds. It took them how long to get back here? Chase you for 10 seconds, then wait for the weapon cooldown, pick up animation, walking over to hook animation, and now they have to waste all that more time getting all the way back to the front over here. And that is a long time the killer has to waste. Even if you're just running some poopy little greed pallet at the back that the killer can mind game, it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you brought them all the way back there. And that's kind of what's interesting about this one too, like I said, is you need a huge head start for that one anyway, but even if you do, you're risking the killer just going back in the middle of the street and leaving chase and guarding a gen if a gen spawns over there. But even if you don't have a big head start and you don't want to do that, then you can immediately jump this and you immediately are in the backyard far as possible from the street, and you have something to be able to loop, which makes this house better than that first one essentially, even though that first one has a better actual window that you can loop over and over. It's just this one I think is more valuable to actually see when you load in because of the back shed, and the other one having the absence of pretty much anything loopable. And this house here is the one with the absolute best, because not only is it a resource that is pretty valuable at the very back corner of the map, but it also is a window instead of a pallet. So you don't have to worry about teammates having already thrown all the pallets and having nothing to be able to loop. This one will always be here no matter what. When you get it to spawn, will always be in the back corner of the map, and it will always be a window. window, which is more valuable than any other loop on the entire map in my opinion. Now the easiest way to tell the difference between these two houses, since they kind of are similar on the inside and you can really point to nitpicky things like, oh, the stairs was in the middle as opposed to right on the right hand side. But that's too much to look at. If you're in the middle of the street, you're not going to be able to even see that anyway. And since this house looks so similarly to the other one that has nothing as opposed to the big blue house, which is very easy to tell apart, so you'll have to make a fast judgment. So, and this is really easy as well. All you got to look for is the garage in the front. If you see the garage in the front, then there's nothing out back. And if you see the porch in the front, then there's gold out back, just like this. We see the porch right here. Going to the left, then we know for a fact that we're going to have the gold shed right in the backyard, just like this here. Now this tile is definitely the biggest win-win on the entire map in my opinion, because it guarantees that it will solve one of the two issues people have. Number one, not having enough things to loop, which makes it really hard if you're getting tunneled, or number two, getting them away from the dangerous generators that can spawn in the middle of the map. So one of two things will happen when you go to take the killer all the way back here. Either he'll commit to you all the way back here, which is extremely valuable, like I said, because similar to last week's Hawkins loop, it takes them essentially 3 times the amount of time as them just looping here, because they had to run all the way back here, loop us a little bit back here. Let's say we even wasted like 20 seconds at this tile back here, and then they down us, then they have to pick us up and then hook us, and then they have to go all the way back to the middle of the street to push them off something important. So this solves 2 issues of if you're afraid of getting tunneled, you're going to get tunneled away from everything important, which is going to help the team out tremendously, and then it doesn't matter if you got tunneled. Or the killer's going to leave you, and then you don't have to worry about getting tunneled, because they won't chase you back here and they keep going back to the middle of the street. So it literally solves one of the 2 problems that people could have with this map, of not having enough resources and getting tunneled, or not being able to pull the killer away from the important stuff. It literally will solve one of the 2. Either going to get tunneled and like pulls them away from the important stuff, or they won't tunnel you because they're staying near the important stuff. One of the 2 is going to get solved, and that's the best part about it. And it really doesn't even matter that much how long of a chase you have here. Even if you're really experienced, if you just run around and you mess up rather quickly, where it's not even really a successful or a nice chase, it can literally still be long enough for the team to get the most important gen done right in the middle of the street. So it didn't even matter that you didn't have a long chase or anything. It's just that far out of the way that it is that valuable to the team. I need to get better at looping this thing. No, I thought I was around the corner. What? I need to figure out how this killer tile works as well. So with that being said, let's get into it. So this tile is really 2 separate tiles. It's a god window until they break this door. And the funny thing is, killers will loop this a little bit because not a lot of survivors run back here. It's in the back corner of the map. And it can be kind of intimidating the first time you come back here. Like, whoa, I am cornered in the very back part of the map. Which once again is a good thing. You're in the very back part of the map getting cornered. But killers kind of expect you to panic and mind game yourself, but it's not. This is a god window. Look how strong this is until they break this, right? You can just run it this way. If killer vaults, or if the killer goes around the super long way, you come around this way, and then you run right back into this window, just like this, right? Let's say they push you around the other way. Same thing. We're going to go over this in a little bit, but these flower pots right here make this wall safer than it even looks. It makes this wall right here a little bit wider. So even if they push you around this way, you can wait for them to come around this way and then jump the window again. And if they double back by the time, a lot of times you might even have enough distance to come right back around this way and push right back into this window once again. And that's literally how simple it is. So they try to push you around this way, back around that bush, you can come this way, right back around into this bush. Use your checkpoints wisely, waiting for them to come around. Once they get around that side of the flower pots, you can jump because they won't be able to double back around that. Like we were saying earlier, it's a little bit thicker than it appears on both sides. We're going to go over that in a second. But both these sides of these flower pots that make the bush a bit thicker than it actually appears, so you can use that as a safer check spot when you're coming around this corner. And just like everything else, even if you do give up a little bit too much distance on your check spot, you can always try a little play of like juking the window and trying to get them to swing, whether you're coming from that direction or this direction. It's definitely always a play you could try where you just don't vault the window and have them swing. It's not going to guarantee save you or anything, but if you did mess up with your checkpoints and get out of position, that's always another play that you could try.
Don't make this. I actually might have made that. Yes, he swung. Double back. Yes!
And that's really as simple as this loop gets while this door is closed. And most killers will open this door eventually, but some killers won't. So here's some very basic examples of running this loop before the door even gets opened.
God damn it. Don't make this. I actually might have made that. Yes, he swung. It's blocked now, though. Oh, God. Right here. Yeah, but it's blocked though. Yeah, we got lucky again. He just won like every 50-50. Oops. Chase me back here. Make it around here. Yeah, this is what I wanted to loop. No, I stubbed my toe. Can we make this? No! Oh shit, they're coming. I make it? Yeah.
Now, before people come back here and try this loop, it's just like any other loop that we were talking about where killer's powers work differently, and you want to come back here and get as much practice as you can. And that's productive because you're taking the killer as far away as possible. But just like any other tile, even if you have experience, you can still mess up, especially that different killer's powers work differently. But the most important thing to keep in mind is you will get better the more you run back to this. So just look at these two chases back to back, where the first one went pretty poorly in comparison to the second one. But the second one, just because we went back to practice some more, even though it was literally in the exact same game. We didn't stop and practice anymore. This was in the same game. This is how drastically you can improve using the exact same loop just from your first attempt to the second attempt. No. Damn. She heard it. Should go back this way. Oh, I can't move. That's hilarious. Hey, we did it though. Now the good thing about this tile is it's in the very fucking back corner of the map. Double back. Yes! Oh, dad. Oh! Good shit. So now let's get into the real meat and potatoes, the tiny little details that make this loop a lot more fun, specifically when the door is open, because once the killer opens this door, that's when the real party starts at this loop, and it becomes really interesting. So we were talking about earlier where you're stubbing your toe here and here, but this is nowhere near as relevant as when this door is open, because as the door open, it works a bit different. So when the door opens, you can run around this loop this way, through the open door, especially to keep distance, because this is a big bush, and if you're playing against like an M1 killer or something, you can even run multiple laps around this bush first. Be careful that you don't stub your toe, because just right there when I stub my toe, it is very, very easy to stub your toe. But the good thing is, it's pretty easy for the killer to stub their toe too. Nice.
He stubbed his toe too. I stub my toe on this shit all the fucking time. But you got to keep that in mind when you're looping around this bush right here, because I know about this loop over and over, and I stub my toe on this thing all the time. So be very careful. Always be sure to come around this a little bit wide when you're coming around this. But the cool thing is, like I said, is because the window's right there, and if it's an M1 killer or something, you have enough distance where you can do an extra loop. So say they're at the other side of the bush here, and we run around. We don't have to vault that window. We can run around this one more time. Just push up, make them get closer to us, and when they get closer to us, then we can jump this window. And when we jump that window, we do immediately have to push this way, because this is not a window where you can sit here and try to game left to right, because you know a lot of times, like a long wall gym or something, when you vault the window, the killer tries to fake you around another way, and then they might try to vault in front of you. You can't, because this is literally the tiniest little walk around where they can just come around you. I've waited too long. Fuck. I'll definitely get hit here. But just what I was saying about how you can't really wait too long in front of this one, it's the exact same thing. Like, you can't juke this way, like you're going to go that way and then go back around. Because if you're running this way and they're behind you, you can't even pretend to fake this way. Because if you pretend to fake that way even the teeniest little bit, you're not going to make it anywhere else because of how small that little walk around is right there. Damn. So if you vault this window, no matter what, you got to come to this spot right here, basically. Because if you come to right here, you can see them still go through that open door, and you can see them come over here through this little bush over there. So you still have enough distance to come around here. Be very careful, once again, because this flower pot right here is even more tense than that other flower pot is. I have stubbed my toe on this running both directions, where I'm running around it this way to go back to this. The dog is probably going to get me, though. Oh, God, stubbed toe. No! Damn it, this way. Or when I was coming around this way to turn the corner. They stub your toe too. Ooh. No! I'm gonna tombstone, that's it. Because this one sticks out farther. Do you see how this one little pot literally sticks out far from the wall as opposed to this side? And this is what I mess up a lot. This one sticks out a bit too, but do you see how when it's lined up and you don't actually have to go like extra wide around this way to go around this one? This flower pot you do. Look how far that sticks out there when you're literally looking at it from the side. So be very careful with this one. You actually have to go a little bit wide around this one. And even then you'll stub your toe a bunch of times like I did. And it brings us right into our next detail specifically is when you jump that window and you get pushed around, specifically this direction. I have ran into this too many times, especially because I ran into it times when I knew it was going to happen as well. But you see how that window does not line up straight? So if you're looking backwards at the killer and you just run straight through this, you're going to face plant right into this fridge here and not make the window. Did I make it? No, I missed! That sucks. I skill issued it and ran. I was gonna make it. I skill issued it and ran into the fucking fridge. Or medium vault the window, which is just as bad. But you have to keep this in mind because when you turn this corner and you're looking at the killer, you have to run a little bit to the right to be able to jump that. It's almost better to line yourself up with the far side of this when you're coming around and then just jumping this window this way. Because not only have I face planted into this fridge like this and completely missed the window, but I've also just barely nicked that fridge enough to cause a medium vault just like that, which also got me hit. He stubbed his toe too. I stubbed my toe on this shit all the fucking time. And then I messed up again. I need to run this tile more. That sucks. I did exactly what I've done. I've made the mistake before too. That's what sucks. Now the cool thing about that open door, as opposed to just having an M1 killer where you can get another round about, is if you have a lunge killer, like a Chucky or a demo or something like that, that can close distance, or a nemesis or something like that, might not be able to get an M1 from here to there, but can hit you with their power. The open door does help there as well. So if you're coming around here and they're about to do something like that, then you can act like you're going to hit the window, but then you can just come around this way, and it can cause them to miss their projectile or lunge, and that can literally be the difference between getting hit or not. I was lucky. So basically, that's how it works. You run around the big bush once, maybe even twice, depending on which killer you're playing against. And once you make it around the big bush like this, then you jump this one. Then it turns into looping the small bush, essentially, because you don't want to game that window. You come around this way. You're pushing around this way, wait for a checkpoint, run around the fridge and jump this way. And even if they did double back and push you back that way, there's two different ways you can go, but I'd prefer going around this way, hoping that, especially even hoping if the killer stubs their toe, because we can gain distance that way. Or if you really wanted to, if they push around that way, you could just run right back around this way and go right back there. And even do a medium vault if you want, because it is safe enough where if you see them come around that, you could medium vault that, and even if they double back, you could run right back around this way. But something that's really important to keep in mind is being decisive on changing directions, because they're obviously going to see which way they're pushing you and which way not to push you. So if you were jumping this way, right, and you push around this way, if you've already gotten that jump even once, they're going to realize which way to push you. So when you're pushing around this way, they're going to try to change directions and get you to go around this way. You have to be decisive. If they start pushing you around this way, you are not going to get an extra loop around this. You're not going to make it all the way around this, because this would be what you would have to do. And even if you tried to get a running vault there, they could just go around, so that's pointless. You would not have enough distance to make it all the way around that big bush, all the way back around the small bush, and make it into this. I wonder if we can get 2 loops around. Or 3. Stub my toe though, big sag. I think if I didn't stub my toe, I would have been able to make it. Damn it, actually. I think just going around that is a bad idea. Going around for an extra loop around it. So if they change directions, you cannot be indecisive, because even if you know which play to make, but you're indecisive and lose half a step, that can easily be the difference between you making it all the way back to that window or stubbing your toe and getting hit. Again, from this direction. No, I fucked up. I changed my mind. Now, one thing that you really do have to be careful for, I've only seen this one total time, but holy shit did it throw me for a loop. Never seen this and was not ready for this whatsoever, but they're pushing around this way, and you're thinking this is another one of the reasons why you want to use this checkpoint right here to make sure they go around, because I was not even looking backwards. I had never seen a killer do this. Once he pushed me around this way, I was like, okay, I'm just going to run right around this way, turn right in my corner. He's still going to be behind me. I'm going to vault this window. Just kidding. He popped right in my face, because the killer knew exactly what I was going to do. Probably knew I was going to get lazy too, because when he pushed me around this way and I ran this way, he did follow around this bush here, but then he cut through this to then pop up right in my face. And that was completely avoidable if I'd have just used my checkpoints, but I was being a little bit lazy just because he hadn't done anything like that yet. So I just ran right past it just to get a jump scare from a killer that's nowhere near a jump scare killer. I don't... Oh my god. I was way too focused on not stubbing my toe in those flower pots. That's hilarious. Another funny little thing that can happen over here too is if you have this big bush and you can have it right next to this, you can use that to sort of get away from a scenario. Yeah, but it's blocked though. Yeah, we got lucky again. We just won like every 50-50. Sometimes it can be a little bit too tempting anyway to get bush value and then run right back to this because this is a lot of fun. Oh god, I got a zombie. I kinda wanna loop around this. Yeah, there we go. No! Only to get forced away from the zombie anyway, but keep in mind that you can have the bush here, and you can get value off of that bush by trying to throw the killer off and getting away from it, or getting value and incorporating in it. But keep it in mind, because this is RNG, but sometimes you do get a bush big enough right here. And for the record, I'm a biased Nemesis main, so this is exactly what I think, but I swear, for every time that the zombies actually hurt the survivor, they also sandbag the killer, just like this. The zombie... Ah! Okay, there we go. Yes! The zombie! Now, another thing that can happen if you are trying to incorporate this house, say there's no generator in the middle of the street or the generator is already done, so you don't have to worry too much about it. One thing that you can do to incorporate this is if you are looping the house, if you get a vault, this kind of explains itself. If they go around that way, you're going to be able to make it right back to that back bush. And same thing, if you vault this and they push you around that way, you can just run all the way around, right through the house, and get right to that back bush again. Very simply and very easily. They might even get bloodlust by that time, but once again, if you have them at bloodlust, you wasted enough of their time at the back corner of the map where it's probably helping the rest of the map. But one thing that is possible is if you are playing this pallet, because a lot of times you're just trying to use this pallet as a filler pallet to connect to that window if you can, or you'll run around this whole wall and use the whole walls to get the killer to follow you, and then you can have the proper angle at the running vault at that window. But if you're using this and the killer does swing, literally all they do is swing and miss, it does give you enough distance to go from the house all the way back to here again. Yes! I don't know if I make this though. Yes! So in review, this really is one of the most fun tiles in the entire map, specifically that it becomes much more interesting and almost loopable. When they open that door, obviously it makes more plays for the killer, but it makes more plays for us as well. There's all the little details about not stubbing your toe on those, the fridge as well. But all in all, what's really fun about this is running the killer back to a really fun and actually genuinely unique tile on the back of the map that you might get extra value off of because they take them a little bit and they don't see people loop it often, just for them to break the door and then waste even more time of theirs back here. So here's some textbook scenarios that you kind of want to aim for, where even if a mistake happened in the back corner of the map, you still loop them long enough in the back corner of the map, and that's going to help the team. Fine. Aw, I was excited. I like this tile. This is one we were talking about earlier. I said you find the one tile with the bush. It's always in the backyard of this house too, because the backyards are the same. Does he break the door? Oh god, he did break the door. Broke the door. Hey, good if you turn around. Oh, stubbed my toe because I'm bad. Now fuck this up. Whoa! Oh, they double backed. I got lucky. I don't. Oh my god. I was way too focused on not stubbing my toe in those flower pots. That's hilarious. Because I always stub my toe in that. So is a killer, but. Make it around here again. Oh no! Oh god. Damn, he didn't go for it. What if I vaulted there? Stub your toe on that. Damn. You were supposed to respect. Back to this one again. I'll go back through. Yay. Damn. Oh god, good shit. I got him with a moonwalk. Yes! I was lucky. Oh god. Vault this. Can we make this or toe stub? Boo! Oh, did wait, what? I got help. I will try this window once more with feeling. Alright, then it becomes much more interesting tile. I don't know which way she went. No, she went that way. Can I make this? Can I make this? Not if I stub my toe like that. Yes! Can you make it all the way around again? Oh, good shit. Damn it. Damn. I'm just gonna M1. I'm expecting them to go for a headshot. Let's go. Yeah, lusty blood. What the fuck? I don't know why she's not using a hatchet. Maybe she really can't throw over it. What if I don't use this checkpoint? Is this checkpoint better? Alright, but now this makes it more interesting, now that this is open. This way. Yeah, more interesting now that it's open. Sub toe. Did he double back? He did. No, he left! Here we go. Break the door. Yay! We can just jump this and then go to the right. Holy shit, he's fast. I'm gonna get tombstone so bad here. And I stubbed my toe! They stubbed your toe too. Ooh. No! I'm gonna tombstone, that's it. I'm not. That was funny. Oh my god, stub toe. Hey, double back. Oh, good shit. It's like the perfect length, I'm pretty sure. Oh my god, toe stub again! Bruh, you are bad. Not the killer, me. I'm saying I'm bad. They literally just fucking did that. Hey, you know what? Let's do it again. Greatest hits. Yeah, let's go. Yes! I don't know if I make this though. Yes! Alright, let's not stub my toe this time. Damn. I forgot he broke that door. Damn it. He has silent bell. Let's go. Damn it. Okay, run all the way around this way. Don't stub my toe, please. Did I make it? No, I missed! That sucks. I skill issued it and ran. I was gonna make it. I skill issued it and ran into the fucking fridge. Here we go. Go back around. Here we go. Alright, can we make it? And not fridge ourselves? Yay! Now the question is, can we make it all the way around and jump it again? From this direction. No, I fucked up. I changed my mind. Keep expecting him to whip over it. Why is he not going for the whip over it? No, I stubbed my toe. That's exactly what I was talking about. He stubbed his toe too, though. Stub your toe. Stub your toe. No, I looped back into it. I dodged it the first time and I doubted myself. Right, go around. Stub your toe. Stub your toe. Yay! You jump it. To the zombie. Ah! Okay, there we go. Yes! The zombie!